Hi everybody, this is Jen from Scrapping Posh, and I am here with a Artistic Studio Creation Design Team project and a mini album that I'm going to be doing for a friend. So she picked out this fabric and sent it to me. So we have to figure out which part we're going to use. Of course, it's a repeating pattern, so. And then we're going to be using the Signs of Time collection, and I just got a little bit of everything. We got the 6x6, the A4, the 8x8, and 12x12. The A4 is the patterns. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Oh, I think I also got a 12x12 patterns. They're in here, so there's two 12x12s in here. So let's get started and see what we can come up with. The first thing I'm going to do is cut. We're going to do a 6x9 with a 3-inch spine, which means that I need one piece of 12x12 graphics card, medium weight chipboard. This is a 52 point, and I use my Fiskars straight blade, and I'm going to leave a link for ASC supplies, obviously, but then I'll also leave a link to my Amazon affiliate store that links you to all the products that I use that Crystal doesn't carry in her store. So things like my trimmers and stuff like that will be in there, and if you decide to buy from that link, I'll just get a little bit of profit from that. So I cut my medium weight chipboard, and it can be black or, you know, regular craft color, but this is what I had upstairs in this room. So I cut it to 9 inches, and then I cut it to 6 inches. And with this trimmer, you just flip it over. You put it on the 6-inch edge again, and it cuts right through it. So I have my two 6x9s, and then because you cut it to 9 first, this is a 3-inch, and we're just going to cut that to 9. Then, out of your 12x12 chipboard, all you have left is this little 3x3 piece of chipboard that you're not using right here. So that's it. And we can put this trimmer away, because for the rest of my paper I'll use a Caterpillar. But first we have to make this the book cover. So let's find out what part of this fabric we'll be using. Okay, so yeah, I decided just to do this here. Typically, if you cut your yarn in half, wherever they fold it, that's going to be where you need it. Okay, so I think I will cut right along here. There's a few lines that will give me a guide, and that'll give me a good more than an inch at the top and bottom. I only need one. So let's get our Fabri-Tac. You can get this in Crystal's store. And we're going to start. I'm going to go ahead. I have plenty of fabric, so I'm going to cut this strip off just to get it out of there. And your Fabri-Tac. Mine is about 3/4 empty, so this may take a minute. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and use some of this Prima tape. It's much like score tape. And then we'll do the outsides. I think that's going to give us a better stick. And then the outsides we'll do with the Fabri-Tac, just in case over time this tape gets unsticky. Is that a word? Unsticky, yeah. Okay. And then you want to leave about 1/4 inch between cover and spine, and you can even use a piece of score tape there it is, to put between there. This is a little less than 1/4 inch, but that'll be fine. Oops. It's my dog. Okay, I'll just go ahead and put this one on beforehand. It's easier that way. Pull out my Teflon craft mat here. Crystal also has these. They're wonderful. And that makes it so the glue doesn't stick to the paper. And then we're going to cut off all the excess, all but about 1 inch over here. Okay. And then we're going to go corner. Let's go here. Leave about 1/8 of an inch. score tape from between the covers and the spine. I'm going to put 1/2 inch score tape all the way around the outside. Now I'm going to switch to 1/4 inch score tape because I'm out of 1/2 inch. And then, one at a time, we're going to glue the long fabric down with our Fabri-Tac. I'm just going along the other side of the score tape and the far side of the fabric. And I just take our book and lay it down. Okay. And then I want to get some of this glue off. This is glue that's seeped through the fabric, but we don't want to reapply it to the fabric. So I'll just get some of that. And the Teflon mat is wonderful because that's all you gotta do. Alright, we're gonna go do the same thing on this side. We're gonna apply glue to this side of the score tape. And then to the far side of the fabric. This is going to be reinforced, so it's not the only thing that holds it. And then we're going to do the same thing. Some paper stick to it here. Okay, just keep on going. This is going to be covered, so it's not important, but I do want kind of a flat surface. Okay, same thing, one side of the score tape and the far side of the fabric, and then we got to tuck our corners here. And same thing over here. extra glue because there's some extra fabric there. Alright, that looks pretty good. Do a little bit more of a tuck here. We can always put corners on that later if it bothers us. So, this is what the front looks like, the spine, and the back. So the back actually has a little bit more of a design on it, but we're going to put some of the paper on the front. Okay, now the next step is we gotta pick a color for the base pages, and I think we're gonna go with a cream and a craft, and then we're just going to cover this whole thing up because we're going to use the stack the page binding system. Okay, so I cut 2 pieces of cream cardstock at 8 by 8 7/8, and that's going to be my base layer for the back. And keep the scraps because we'll use those for pockets and stuff. And these are going to go right here. So first thing I'm going to do is take my score tape and go all the way around. There's a lot of tape at the beginning because it's all structural. We'll switch to ATG tape here shortly. And this is kind of what holds the book together. I'm going to take ATG and we just want to make sure that it sticks. And then the Fabri-Tac, because it is going to be on fabric. I'm going to go ahead and peel this off. Because I am going to put the Fabri-Tac right over the score tape. I'm going to make a glue holder so that I can store my glue upside down. Okay. There's that. And then the other thing I'm going to do is put, before I put this down, I'm put score tape on either side of this cover because we want it to definitely stick there. Here. Okay, we're going to apply it about 1/8 or so away from the cover over here. Make sure that it's straight. And then when we get to the seam from the cover to the spine, we push down in. We're going to let that dry really good before we do a whole lot to it. And then while that's drying, we'll go ahead and do this one. This time I'm going to leave the tape like 1/4 inch away from the side so that I can apply the glue and not have it right on top of the score tape. I'm going to do the same with the APG. And then around the outside with the glue. And this time I kind of stuck it upside down, so. There we go. And then again, tape on either side of the cover and spine. Okay, again, we're going to line it up with the outside. I accidentally stuck into the score tape there. That's okay, we're going to cover that up. Actually, turn it around so it's not so close to the edge. Okay. Again, when you get to the cover, kind of go down in that crease. There you go. And there's your book. And while that is completely dry, and we can cut our inside pages and find a front image. So we want it to be like more medical based. So I was thinking the anatomy pictures versus the botanical or the engineering ones. Or we can use some of the chemistry ones. The science, this is a nice, I like this, but I don't want to cover up the whole thing. I may use like one of these. Let's get out the 12 by 12 and see what they got. Because it's a fairly big front. It's a 6 by 9 front, so. I like the nautical ones. Love this pattern. I think some of these definitely, and this for the side, so let's do some fussy cutting. Okay, so now let's just put the pages in, and then we'll go for a different video. So I have 6 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper, and I scored them at 5.5 because that's my page width, because I have a 6-inch book. So if I put 5.5, it sits with a 1/2 inch there. So I score at 5.5 by 8.5, and that's my first page. And then I like to leave this page small because it just adds some interest. I usually make that my first page. So 5.5 by 8.5, and we'll just glue that down. You can use score tape. I'm just going to use wet glue. And you line that up right in the middle. Double check to make sure that this is like straight here. If you have those things, then you're straight and you don't have to worry about getting your hinge in crooked. Your next page is scored at 5.5 and 8. And then I'm going to turn this one this way. And again, you put it right in the middle, leaving about 1/4 inch on both sides, but you line it up with the top and bottom of this one. Okay, and then you do the same thing with the next one, and like I said, I rotate them back and forth each time. You just line them up, put them about in the middle of the page before, and your measurements for each page after these two is 5.5 by 7.5, 5.5 by 7, 5.5 by 6.5, and 5.5 by 6. And you will end up with a 1/2 inch page in the middle. or a 1/2 inch gusset in the middle. So you'll all have 1/4 inch gussets except for the last one. And you can arrange the pages however you want. Okay, so there is the base of our book done, and we got the cover done. So now we can get into the pages and have some fun designing and decorating. So head on over to ASC Supplies on Etsy, use Scrapping Posh 10 for 10% off your regular price purchases, and pick up your Ciao Bella Signs of Time. And we'll see you next time to make some pages. Thanks a lot.